Hey, this is Jeffrey Sooey with Coaches Training Blog. And whether you're a coach working with executives, you're a business leader or owner, or you're working for the man, chances are you know that it's important to understand what you're working for and why you need a team to work with you. Today, we're going to talk about key accountabilities. And key accountabilities are really the reasons why you've even got a job. And if you have a team that you manage or a team that works for a business that you own, they're the reasons why you've got that team. And what we're going to do in this video is talk about what key accountabilities are, what they look like, and actually how to discover your or your team's key accountabilities. So let's start with what is it? What is a key accountability? Well, it's one critical reason your job exists. If it wasn't for a key accountability, you either wouldn't have a job or your job really wouldn't have much of a purpose. A key accountability is a result that's critical to your performing your job well. And it's a result that ultimately you're responsible for. Now, there are two types of accountabilities that you might have or that someone on your team might have in your organization. The first one is pretty straightforward. It's to produce a positive result. There might be sales that you're trying to produce for your organization, or helping with manufacturing a certain product, or providing a service. Those are all positive results that are probably pretty critical to the existence of your organization. The second type of accountability is to reduce a negative result. So reducing mistakes or accidents, reducing the number of unhappy customers your organization might have, reducing refund rates, or if you're in a manufacturing organization, maybe reducing the number of times that the assembly line has to be stopped, or reducing the number of repairs that have to happen. Hopefully you get the gist of this. So there are positive results you're trying to produce more of in an organization, and negative results you're trying to reduce or eliminate or avoid completely in an organization. And those are really the main types of accountabilities. Now, why bother knowing your key accountabilities? Well, first, it helps you keep your job. Again, your job probably has a purpose. It's not just for someone to send you a salary, right? And so there's a reason that that job exists. If you know more deeply about what that reason or the reasons might be, it's more likely that you're going to focus more on those things, do an even better job with those areas, and actually, chances are, stick around for a while. It also helps you identify high performance. If you know what the key accountabilities are, you know if you're performing. It also helps you prioritize, of course. If you know what your key accountabilities are, you can prioritize those things. That kind of goes without saying. Now, what about if you're a business owner or you're managing a team? Why bother knowing your team's key accountabilities? Well, think of it this way. In your organization, in your business or your team, there is a giant sucking sound. And that is a giant vacuum cleaner that's sucking up money. It's sucking cash out of your organization. And that vacuum cleaner is your organization's people. Ultimately, there's a lot of things that can be very expensive within an organization, but ultimately, for most organizations, one of the largest expenses would be human resources, actually paying people's salaries, paying for their time, paying for the results that a contractor might provide for them. And look, obviously, people are more than just money-sucking vacuum cleaners, but they definitely cost a lot of money. So I created this visual for a little bit of shock value. But ultimately, they do cost a lot of money. And money represents human labor. Even if we're talking about the cost of gold or copper or some natural resource like petroleum, the money that we pay for those resources really doesn't represent the resource itself, because that resource, chances are, is much more abundant than it seems. The reason why there's a limited amount of that resource is because there is a limited amount of people willing to mine that gold or copper, to build a rig that is going to pump that oil out of the ground. Even with the most product-oriented costs, there's almost always labor involved. And a big part of anything that you might purchase from an organization is really paying for the labor. It's representing the labor that it took to create that business, to build that product, to mine the gold, and especially, obviously, to provide the service. So when you think about a dollar, just think of that as some fraction of someone else's willingness to do something that they probably didn't feel like doing that day, but they're willing to do it for a dollar. So since we know these people that are on your team are going to cost quite a bit of money, you want to make sure that they're pretty productive. They're actually going to be worth the money that you're paying them. So it helps to have their key accountabilities in a couple ways. First, it helps you find the go-to guy or gal for a particular issue or project. You know who to find that should be responsible for solving a particular problem, for providing a particular result, or for collaborating on a particular project. You can clarify whether you're distracting from or contributing to a team member's mission. If you know their key accountabilities, you know if you're bringing them something that is within that domain or that's distracting them from the most essential, critical, and valuable things that they're bringing to the table. Finally, it helps you hold your team accountable for things that matter. If there's no accountability, eventually those key accountabilities probably aren't going to get delivered on, at least at the level that they could have. And then you cease to be competitive. So coming back to this wonderful vacuum cleaner of money, the reality is that although people cost quite a bit of money, ideally in your business, each of these individuals actually generates money as well. And the only question is, how much do they generate? How effective are they at delivering the value that those key accountabilities represent? And although everyone's got a different measurement of this, some of my mentors have said that each team member needs to be able to generate 10 times whatever they're paid in value for your organization. That's quite a high expectation. So let's take a look at what key accountabilities look like in writing. It's actually a pretty simple list. You're going to see the results that are clearly stated as results, as measurable, specific results. And then you're going to have a priority rank. In other words, there's going to be the first most important key accountability, the second, third, etc. And then finally, there's going to be a certain weight of the amount of time that's actually involved in that particular accountability. For instance, an accountability could be the most important thing, but maybe it only takes 10% of that team member's time. Or maybe something's fourth on the ranking scale of importance, but it takes 75% of the team member's time. You think that might be important for a team member to be aware of, or for you as the manager to be aware of as well? So let's cover the 3 steps to actually coming up with and discovering your key accountabilities. So the first step is just to make a list. Second, we're going to talk about filtering that list. And third, we're going to rank these accountabilities. 3 very simple steps. So in step 1, the list, you're going to brainstorm all your key accountabilities. In step 2, the filter step, you're going to remove anything that's not a key accountability. And then the third step, the ranking step, you're going to put the remaining key accountabilities in order. And all of this is done in writing. Everything you want to do inside of this process, you should do in writing so you've got clarity in that process. Really helps. So let's get to the list step, step 1. So when you're making this list, your goal is to come up with a raw list of results and responsibilities that you think are crucial to your job. Now, before making your list, you're going to list the tasks that you currently do in your organizational roles. You want to include routine tasks, troubleshooting tasks, project management tasks, any kind of management or supervisory responsibilities that you have in working with others or others on your team. And you're going to list the tasks that also you should be doing, but for one reason or another, you're not doing them right now. Once you've listed all these tasks, you've done a full brainstorm on this, then you're going to start moving to key accountabilities. And considering the tasks that you just listed, list the key results that you're responsible for producing. So you're thinking about, wow, I'm doing all these different things, but what's the result that those things ultimately produce for the organization? You're really answering the question, if I do my tasks and my job successfully, What does the organization get? What results will I cause that have value for the organization? And what else would result that impacts the organization in a significant way? And make sure that each result is measurable. You want to look at each of these results that you're listing, and are they actually measurable? The more specific the measurement, the better. The easier it is to identify what the key accountability really is. Also, make sure that each result will cause significant impact. If it's not a significant impact, chances are it doesn't need to be included in a key accountabilities list. Now let's move on to the filter step. Now that you've listed your key accountabilities, you're going to boil this list down to 3 to 5 major items. First, you want to combine any items that really relate to the same overall result. You might have listed several different aspects of really one overall result. So you want to put these together into larger chunks because you're really shooting for 3 to 5 of these accountabilities. If you've got 20, then we really need to combine some of them, chances are. So combine what you need to. Also eliminate any items that are not a critical result for the organization. And ideally you can settle on, again, no more than 5 key accountabilities. Now let's move on to the rank step. In this step, you're actually going to rank and weight these accountabilities. So rank your final list in order of priority to the organization. This should be pretty easy. Just get clear on the most important priority, and then next and next and next, all the way down to the least important key accountability that's remaining on your list. Then indicate what % of your time you should spend on each accountability. Even if you don't spend that kind of time right now, what's the ideal? How much time should you put into each accountability on a percentage basis? That's it. Now you're finished with the rank step, and you will have a key accountabilities list that's in priority order with the ideal percentage of your time that should be spent on that key accountability. And remember, these accountabilities, these are why you have a job in the first place. That's where that money is coming from. It's coming from those results that you provide this organization. And even if those results aren't going as well as you like, chances are that's still why you get paid. And again, if you're a business leader or owner or manager of a team, the accountabilities that are owned by each team member is the reason why they're on that team of yours in the first place. That's why you have a team, for them to produce those accountabilities. When we know what these are, we can best understand how this value is flowing through your organization, how to make the most of it for your team, for yourself, for your customers, and for your organization as well. So once again, this is Jeffrey Sooey, and let me know what you think about the key accountabilities. How important is it to your job, your organization, or the clients that you coach right now? And let me know if there's anything I missed about this process or about why these should exist and why we need to focus on them. Just leave a comment below and let me know how this made a difference for you or your organization or the business that you help and that you coach. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to hearing about your key accountabilities soon.